So welcome back. This is the fourth video I'm making this year in 2024 for Macintosh. Now, I put out quite a lot of Macintosh content on this channel, and I'm not actually totally a Macintosh fan. I do have way more PCs than I do Apple products, but having said that, they do have nice engineering, you know, they do have some nice aesthetics, and they're a bit different from the average beige box that the PC clone makers were making at the time, although obviously a lot of Apple products were beige at that time. With the kind of interest in nostalgia and collectibles and vintage and retro computing and gaming that's happening at the moment, it's getting increasingly difficult to find well-priced products, you know, that an average person can afford. If you've got a slightly unusual Mac product, it can go for a lot of money on eBay. eBay in the UK is the most common way of finding things. Things do come up on Facebook Marketplace. So if you're looking for something to start your collection or to add to your collection, you're almost certainly going to be looking on eBay first of all. And some of the prices have just got crazy. Even for things that were not necessarily that interesting or still readily available, some of the prices have gone super crazy. So the question is, in 2024, is it still possible to buy an affordable, classic with a small c, Apple Macintosh? I think the answer to that is yes, but it is definitely getting harder, and you have to put in some effort to try and find the right things. And I think the answer is yes. The answer is not definitively yes, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's sold as untested or for parts, and with the age of some of these things, particularly if the PRAM batteries have been left in, I mean, you see my first two videos for this year for Macintosh, you know, they show you how badly things can go downhill very quickly if you don't store these computers well. So one of the best ways of getting a bargain is to look at stuff that is being sold as parts. Now, the other thing is collection. A lot of these products are quite big and heavy, and so people are actually reluctant to post them, and that's entirely reasonable. And that's one of the ways I think you can get a bit of a bargain when you're looking for stuff for your collection. But the question is, can you actually get something that's reasonably priced and working in 2024? So we're going to kind of slightly try and answer that question with the three boxes I've got here, because I picked these up a couple of days ago. I got them on eBay. They were being sold as is, untested, probably faulty, but they were collection only, and because of that there wasn't a lot of interest, and I did manage to pick them up at a reasonable price. I did have to go and get them, and it took me 3 hours round trip to go and get them. Even including the petrol price, these still came in at a very reasonable sum, way less than £100. And that includes these three box products. Now, I don't know if any of them are working. I don't actually know what's definitively in the boxes. So let's do that. Let's have a little look. You can see one just here in the corner. So hopefully that's kind of whetted your appetite. But let's get the first one. So, definitely an Apple product. All right, so this is a Macintosh, Power Macintosh 6500 250. Boxed, although the box is a little bit worse to wear. It's got various kind of product stickers on it. Looking at this one, it says it's a Power Macintosh 6500 250 with 32 megs of RAM, floppy drive, zip drive, 4 gig hard disk, internal CD that's 24 speed I think, and a modem, so I presume that's a modem. It's got the proper packaging, but interestingly on this side there's some kind of extra stickers. So there's this multimedia magic sticker, which is sticker, and it's got this Mac OS 8 sticker as well. I think these 6500 when it first came out with a version 7 of Mac OS. So this must be a later one, and it looks like it was aimed at the home market because it's got this kind of consumer orientated sticker on it, probably kind of just before they were going to release something that was newer, which would have been the G3, I think it wasn't after this. So anyway, we've got some specs here, and we've got the extra includes great software sticker over here, which again is a sticker, as is this one. So hopefully there is a 6500 in here. Is there anything on this side? Nope. So the history of these, we don't know very much about them. The person who sold them to me was selling them because their son had bought them to do something with, and they've been sat in the garage for years, so basically he was instructed to sell them, and that's how they ended up being collected by me a couple of days ago. So let's get this out and see what is actually in here. I've just noticed on the top here it says job 9204. That makes me think maybe this was a return. If things have got job numbers on them, that generally means something needs doing to them. Okay, well there's definitely a Macintosh in here, and it does appear to be a 6500 250. It's a little bit yellowed on the front, but not too bad on the sides. So if this works, it was definitely worth the money. Okay, ignoring what's in the other two boxes. But if this works, then it probably was worth going to go and pick this up. And the answer to the question is yes, you can get a collectible Mac in 2024 for a reasonable amount of money. We don't know if it's working though, so we're going to have to try. Looking at the back, it looks in very good condition. Actually looks in really good condition. So it's got display, got your serial and ADB. This serial port's covered up, SCSI port, audio, and this one has got a modem installed. 2 PCI slots, power supply obviously, but otherwise it's a pretty classic looking case. It's, sorry about the vibrations, it's a little bit more curved than some of the kind of contemporary Power Macs. So it's kind of, it must have been the same age as that all-in-one kind of molar style. That's what it reminds me of. And maybe the Color Classic as well. It's got a little bit more curves to it than most of the other Macs I've got. So, as I said, if this is working, it was worth it. Let's see what else we got for our money though. Oh, I forgot the other thing that's in the box. So the top poly is missing, but the bottom poly is in place. And there is an accessories box. There's also a CD. Looks like a recorded CD, Norton 5.0. So that's interesting. But that's not an official one. But is there anything else in there? No, so you got the bottom polys, as I said, and this welcome box. There is something in here. Okay, so yeah, so it's the mouse, the keyboard, and the power cord. They're all in pretty good condition actually. They're not yellowed at all. In fact, that's probably the least yellowed keyboard I've seen from this period. Okay, we'll be needing those, so I'll leave them out. Okie dokie. So, next box. So you've been able to see that just out the corner of the view here. So again, original box. It is the Apple multi-scan 15 AV display. So this is a 15-inch standard CRT with the AV additions, i.e. it's got these speakers on the side. The normal non-AV has got the headphone port anyway. So the AV part is mainly the speakers. The box looks okay. It's got a similar kind of amount of damage to the other one. It's a bit less crushed. There's no extra stickers. Again, it's got a reference number, a yellow sticker on it. It looks like a job, but it's not. That's just a delivery sticker. Multimedia ready color display. So this tells you the specs, but they're on most of the usual websites like Low End Mac and Every Mac. Let's have a little look what's inside. So, monitor base. I think a lot of Apple Mac monitors look better without the bases on personally, but we do have the base. There's a bag, slightly dubious looking bag. It's got some stuff in it. And it's got some paperwork. And it's got a box that says memory upgrade. What is in here? Is there anything in here? There is an empty bit of anti-static bag. And another empty anti-static bag. As a bit of anti-climax. So, empty box is what we've bought. And then there's two other bits of paper in this dodgy bag. So I'm not showing this on screen in case it's got personal details on it. It's the order for the memory. Aha. It's also got another item on here that's relevant for these boxes. So it's a delivery note rather than an invoice, so I don't know how much it cost. But it has got delivery address on, so I'm not going to show it on the camera. And then there's a configuration certificate. Anyway, let's get back to this. So in here, we do indeed have a monitor. There's the cable. Oh, we do also have power cord with a right angle. And it's not a plug one, it's an IEC at both ends, which is nice. Again, top poly is missing, but bottom poly is there. So here we go. It is indeed a monitor, and it does appear to be the 15-inch AV version of the Apple multi-sync monitor. So I think I'm correct in saying that before this range of monitors, most of the Apple monitors were fixed resolution, and this is where you could actually start to have just more than 640 by 480. Let's have a look around the back. So Apple multiple scan 15 AV display. So it's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's got a captive lead, which actually in itself is actually slightly interesting because I've got the non-AV version of this monitor and I'm pretty sure that doesn't have a captive lead. Okay, now it's my understanding that these two products are often sold together. So it's not unusual to find them together for sale, I'd imagine. As I said, we don't know if they're working. If either one of these is working, then it was worth what I paid for it. If they're both working, it's well worth what I pay for it. So we plug them in and find out what's happened. Hopefully no blue smoke. The monitor's a little bit discoloured, and annoyingly it's more discoloured here. The speaker grills haven't aged as much. So it is a little bit of a mismatch. But there you go. But this keyboard's in really nice condition actually. So there's only one ADB port on the computer, which I think was getting kind of common at this point because they're about to go to USB not long after this. This came out I think in 1997 and was discontinued in 1998. And the iMac, the G3 iMac came out in 99, didn't it? Okay, so keyboard and mouse are plugged in. Didn't say about the mouse. The mouse is pretty good. It's a little bit yellowed, particularly around the palm area, and it's a little bit grubby. We have computer, we have monitor, keyboard and mouse. Let's plug in the power on the desktop. Wow, that was really loud. Okay, but it did power up. I've got a green light, we've got a chime. I've got nothing on the oh, we have something on the monitor. Okay, so we have a mouse and we have a flashing disk icon. So it looks like it's working. Okay, so we lucked out. But we have answered our question. Can you buy a classic Apple Macintosh product in 2024 at a reasonable price? And the short answer appears to be yes, we can. Obviously this hasn't got a hard drive in, or if it has, it's failed because it's not finding the operating system. That's a little bit of a shame because it would have had all that extra software installed that we're not going to be able to find anywhere else, I don't think. But cool. Okay, so we have a working Power Mac. That's really, really nice. So we've already won. Okay, but there may be a bonus. So there were 3 boxes that I picked up for this quite insignificant amount of money. Let me just turn this off, move them out of the way, and then we'll get the 3rd box out and see how lucky we have been. So we've won already. Whatever we get from here is a bonus. But I think we have got something that is a contender. We have got a boxed, in pretty good condition, iMac, well, the box is in good condition, but it's an iMac G4 17-inch. So if this works, then we have definitely been able to answer the question, can you get something reasonably priced that's a classic Apple product? So let's have a quick look at the box. A little bit of water damage on the top, but otherwise it's pretty clear, it's not crushed. So this is supposed to be a 1 gigahertz 17-inch, 256 megabytes of memory, 80 gig hard drive, SD, so that'll be the drive, super drive, the optical drive, MV18, so that's referring to the video card, is it maybe? And it says speaker as well, so this may even come with speakers. Are we going to get lucky? Are we not going to get lucky? Let's find out. We've already been lucky. We don't need to be lucky. Okay, so the packaging looks like it's complete. There is the card on the top, which is nice. Okay. A little bit of plastic with some screws, so that is a drive sled, but I don't think that's a drive sled from a iMac G4, is it? That could be the drive sled from the 6500 we just opened. Next we have the mouse with a little scroll wheel. That's nice, it looks in pretty good condition. It's reassuring that the polystyrenes are here and the cables are here. That is very reassuring. Okay, we have a FireWire extender cable. Oh no, we have USB extender cable. I'm not sure what that's for. We have another package, which I'm guessing is going to be the keyboard. You can see through the polystyrene that this is definitely yellow. So that's a very creamy, cheesy colour. Not very white. This side's white. This side not so much. You can see why I changed the white balance. But the keyboard's there. And it's not a bad keyboard. It's better than the other keyboard that came with the 6500. There's one more cable hiding here. And that is a FireWire cable. And interestingly, it's an 800 to 400 cable. So they're a little bit grubby, but the cones look intact. As I think I've said before in other videos, I can't believe how flexible Apple power cables are. They're just kind of floppy. So I think we lift this up, do we? We do. Having all the original polystyrene is really nice. So there we have it. We have a 17-inch G4. It's a little bit yellowed on the front. Not as yellow as the keyboard, but it's not as white as the back or the base. Base looks in pretty good condition. The arm seems to be pretty stable, not too floppy. So that's good. It's dripping a little bit maybe. And there we have Apple logo, a little bit dusty. So, are we going to get lucky the 3rd time? Let's plug it in and find out. Okay, we've plugged it in. The cover on the optical drive is a little bit misaligned. Should we turn it on? See what happens? I hear a fan. So at least the power supply is working. I can hear Did I hear the optical drive? Oh, screen flickered and has come to life. So we have the question mark icon, so it means it also is missing the hard drive. But it appears to be functional. Got no mouse cursor, which I was expecting. So maybe all is not well in iMac land. We didn't get a chime either. The fact there's no mouse cursor is concerning me a little bit. So we may not have been quite so lucky on this third item. Let's just try that again. It's the same thing, no mouse pointer. Is that normal for a G4 iMac? Let me just plug the mouse directly into the base unit in case there's a problem with the keyboard. I've got a laser light now, which I don't remember seeing before. Let's power cycle one more time. Still no chime and still no mouse pointer. So, not so sure we've been lucky on this one, but it is boxed. It comes with the speakers, it's got a keyboard and mouse, and if we can get the hard drive working, then this potentially is another working computer. I say the only thing that concerns me slightly is there's no mouse pointer, so if anybody knows where I'm supposed to be seeing one at this point, if you put a comment down below, that'd be good. But we're not going to investigate this machine or the others in this video. The point of this video was to try and see whether it is still possible to buy reasonably priced, classic, with a small c, Apple hardware in 2024. And I think the answer has been yes. I think I've been particularly lucky. The fact that it's all boxed up and the fact that the 6500 works straight out of the box, that's really nice. As I said, I think this is probably the hard drive caddy for it. So we've definitely got a 6500. We may or may not have a G4 iMac as well. But overall, as I said, I think we'd call that a win. Now, is that going to happen every time? No. If you saw the first two videos for Macintosh, many of those computers were just severely damaged. No chance of them booting. Hopefully somebody, I've sold them on, so hopefully somebody has got the skills to kind of repair those at a component level. But the amount of motherboard trace damage was, you know, significant. So you're not always going to get lucky, but you can get lucky. Things to look out for, I would say, are try and find items that are collection only. Generally, they get much less bits. Obviously, you can have to go and pick it up. The other thing to look for is don't be too afraid to buy stuff that isn't tested. Apple hardware has always been less widely available and people have less exposure to it than PC equivalent stuff. And people are pretty good at fixing PC stuff. It's very modular. Apple stuff is much harder, unless you know Apple stuff, it's much harder to get a view of whether it's working or not and why it isn't working and whether that's a trivial problem or whether it's a significant problem. So I think it's more likely that Apple stuff is listed as not tested or awful parts, purely because the experience of people who are selling these things, often I found it's people who have inherited stuff that they're getting rid of. You know, they probably actually don't know how to get this classic Apple stuff working. So don't be too afraid to consider stuff that isn't listed, but you are going to be disappointed sometimes, like I have been in the past. This time we got lucky. So hopefully that video was interesting. These things are becoming rarer and rarer. The prices are going up. A lot of the prices on eBay are not realistic. Don't look at the headline price. The best thing to do is look at what has sold rather than what's actually being advertised and see what that sold for. And you'll find the prices a bit more reasonable. But there you go. Hope you find the video useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did find it useful. And we'll see you in the next one. Probably talking about PC stuff rather than Mac, but who knows. Okay, quick postscript. Just booting off a FireWire hard drive externally, and it does appear to be a working iMac G4. So we did get lucky. Optical drive's not opening and closing, so it may be that the cable was disconnected when they took out the hard drive. So it is a 1 GHz G4, correct. It's got 512 megs of RAM, so that might be that memory upgrade that we had the empty box for. No 88 devices, so the hard drive in this is definitely IDE, and I think the optical drive is too, so yeah, there's no optical drive detected, so it's very likely that the cable's unplugged or the optical drive has been removed. But we should better replace both those items relatively freely. Great, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you found it useful.